So I recently purchased the 2025 U-Wing, and while I think it's a great set, and I think that it looks very clean, and the Lego designers did a good job, there is three things that most people don't like about this set. And I'm going to show you how to fix two of those in this video. So the first one is the engine detailing. If you look on the actual U-Wing, the blue ring is further up on the engines. And this one is a pretty simple one. It does compromise the structure slightly of the model, but it's not, if you care more about looks and less about sturdiness or structural stability, then this is probably what you want to do. And you can just do this while you're building it or after the fact. All you have to do is just move this 4x4 round up one brick, and then if you do that on all four engines, it gives it a little bit more of an accurate look. I am not going to do that because I don't really care too much. I can just say, oh well, mine has a different paint job. But yeah, if you want to change all four engines, it looks more accurate to what you see in the films. But the biggest thing that we're going to tackle today is this. Now, I don't really the actual U-Wing has sliding doors. I don't really care if it has sliding doors or not, but for a troop transport ship that's supposed to like get troops down to the battlefield quickly, that is just unacceptable. I mean, you might be able to cram 2, maybe 3 figures in there, and when I say cram, I mean shove them in, but this is not enough room. So I'm going to show you today a little mock that you can do to your U-Wing that doesn't require a whole lot of pieces, that will allow this to hold 4 minifigs pretty comfortably instead of just one comfortably, or I might say uncomfortably. So the pieces that you need a 2x10 in light bluish gray. You need 2 1x4s in light bluish gray. You need at least 6 of these 2x2 corners in light bluish gray. At least 6. I say at least 6 because that's what's required, but it's better if you have, oh, what did I say? 6? That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say 8. You need 8. Yes, you need 8 of these. But if you have 12, it's better, and I'll show you why. Sorry, not 6, 8. So here, I'll lay out what you need, and then I'll lay out the optionals. You then need either, you can do 4 of these 1x4s, or you can do a 2x4 in light bluish gray, or really whatever color you want. I think that light bluish gray looks the best. I chose these just for some difference or greebling, if you will, on the inside. You'll see when I get there. And then you need 4 1x1 plates in light bluish gray, and or you can go off to the side for now. So 2, 8, and then you can either do, these are optional, and you'll see when I get there. And then you need any color of a 2x2 plate. To make it better, I would include 4 more of these angled 2x2s, or right angle. I don't know what the official name for this piece is. Maybe down in the comments someone will help me out and say which one that piece is at, or what piece that piece is actually called. All right, let's get to the actual mock here. So the first things first, I want to take these wings off because they kind of get in the way, and probably the engines too. Let's do the engines first, just so we can see what we're doing a little bit better under here. We can put those back on after we're done. Same thing with these big wings. The first time I did this, I tried to leave them on, and it just did not work. So we're just going to take these off ever so carefully here. Boop. And then we'll be left with this sad little block midsection of the U-Wing. I always think the U-wing looks really goofy without its wings on. Sorry, I'm taking this off camera. I just don't want to damage these hinge pieces. All right, so this is what we have. So first things first, we need to take this whole assembly off the bottom, and it should come off fairly easily. We just need to remove this little insert, and we can put that off to the side because we don't need that anymore. And we're going to take out the two doors. You can leave the hinges on. And then we have our 2x10. So what we're going to do, or what we need to do, is we need to build this up slightly. And so you're going to take 4 of these angled pieces. I'm just going to call them angled pieces because I don't feel like looking up what they're actually called right now. And we are going to place these like so on our U-wing. And then we need to take our 2 1x4 light bluish gray plates and put them on like so. So this is what we have. And when we take our 2x10s, and one of them came with the set. You can use a 4x10. It might look a little cleaner, but I was trying to make it simpler by still using pieces that came with the set. So we're going to put these on here like this. All right. Now we need to take our 2x2 and put it in the center. And you can do that before if you want, but this is how I built it when I was trying to figure out the design, so this is how I'm going to do it now. So I'm actually going to pause on this real quick, and I'm going to show you an optional thing that you can do for the doors, and you'll see why later. And the reason I'm going to do it now is because I don't feel like taking them off and then showing them later. But replace these 2x2s, and I probably should have brought a brick separator over here, but I didn't because I didn't think ahead. But take off these 2x2 dark grays, and we don't need those anymore. So these and this is the only thing we're taking out of the set that we don't need. And you're going to replace with these additional 2x2 with the missing part. Right angle pieces. Again, I don't know what they're called. So we're going to put those on like so. Now you can insert these doors in like this. And now we just need to add in some stability. So we're going to put in our 1x1s in the corner. Like that. So there's a 1x1 there, a 1x1 there, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'll show you the reason why I put those there. They're not needed, but when you close this, there's a little bit of a gap here, and if you don't put those in there, it's really noticeable. So we put in our 1x1s on the other side. Now we're going to do it on this side. 1 and 2. And now we take our little right angle pieces again. I probably should have looked up what the name of these were before I started considering of how many of them I use in this. 1, 2, and then we put them on the other side. If you need to pause to see exactly where I'm putting them, that's fine. Or if you can just see with normal speed. 4. And then right here, again, I used these just because I liked the gradients or the little bit of a difference in here, but you can use whatever you want. I would recommend using light bluish gray, but if you wanted to put like a brown piece in there or sand yellow or something just to give it some more contrast, that's completely fine. So now we have a wider space. And the reason we put these on is these little clips is what holds the doors or prevents the doors, I should say, from going too far in. And with the 2x2 standards on there, it stops like right about here, and it looks kind of funky, but if you replace those pieces, you can push it just a little further in. And the only change, obviously it makes this a little blockier, but it brings this down by 1 plate, which this is already too far down to be accurate, and so it doesn't really change that much, and you don't really notice it, especially when all the pieces are back on, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to put the whole thing back together so you can see it completed in case you're still on the fence about doing this, or if you're just watching for fun. That's fine too. So we'll put these wings back on, and then we'll get the engines back on so I can show you what it looks like, and then I'll show you with the figs in there. We'll put some figs in to show it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't this fun watching a set get put back together? All right, so now this is what it looks like completed, and it looks very, very similar to how it did before. This bottom part, the troop area, is just a little fatter, and honestly, I think it's easier to hold now. And you can tell that it's a little lower, but honestly, when you're looking at the ship from like its best angles, you don't see it. But let's pull in some figures. Cassian will bring you back. I just made a couple of little random minifigs to put in there. And we use one from the set too, but I gotta take her guns off. It is a little tricky to get them in with their weapons, but there's extra space in there that you can honestly use to store some of their weapons, and I'll show you when they get put in here. So we'll get Cassian in. Number 1, number 2, and now they can't stand. There's not enough room to stand, obviously, but they can sit, and they sit comfortably. Like, they've got space above to sit. I'm sure I could figure out some way to modify it so it would be one plate up, but I think it's good enough. All right, and let's get our third guy in. Oh, this guy just popped out. I didn't get him in enough. Hold on. All right, 3. We'll flip it around again, and we'll get 4. All right, we got our 4 figs in the U-wing, ready for battle. Well, not ready for battle. They need their weapons, but whatever. And then we just close them up, just like that. And there you have it, the modification for the 2025 U-wing Starfighter. Thanks for watching.